Welcome to Atlanta, Georgia for the SFL All-Star Game from Season 14. Alongside a very heavy, star-studded crew today, I am SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine, joined alongside Mikey Improda, and on stats, Benji Matson, J.L. Browning, Robert Garrett Jr., and Rosca Santagria. What's going on, Mikey?
Yeah, buddy, the SFL Season 14 2020 All-Star Game from the ATL. I'm so incredibly grateful to be here. But first off, let's start by thanking you, Commissioner Irvine, for all of your incredible work, the countless hours and dedication, your remarkable ability to expand the world of opportunity for this SFL community, and your boundless vision has been unprecedented. None of this is possible without you, and for that, you are the ultimate all-star, Cameron Irvine. And for the players on the field today, the league celebrates the best of the best. Your play has been magnificent. Your performances have been amazing. Your talents have been recognized. This is the definitive gift for the SFL Nation to honor you, Mr. Irvine. I'm ready to go. Let this all-star show begin.
And with that fantastic opening, let's get going. Oh, that ball's on the tee. We're all ready to go. The West will kick off to the east, and from Atlanta, Georgia, let's kick it. We're underway. The East on the return. That is Harish Prasad returning kicks for the Eastern Conference. And now let's get to these East All-Stars. And you'll see two quarterbacks right off the bat. Christian Christensen wears number 13. Marcus Dunhill wears number 15. We'll get to the rules of the All-Star game here in a matter of moments. We'll start with Christian Christensen at quarterback and three wide receivers. Two backs in the backfield, and Christensen will change the play. And out of a nickel defense, he'll hand the ball off, and that's J.W. Doyle with the fullback carry, and he nearly picks up a first down to start the game, Mikey.
Great job on that play call. When you have Christian Christensen behind center, you feel like that they're going to throw the ball every time they come out running, and Leah Crowder shows that they want to pound it on the ground with Doyle.
Second and short at the 30. We expect plenty of fireworks here today in Atlanta, who won the Season 14 SFL Championship game, if you weren't aware. The handoff goes to T. Roy Gaines. He picks up the first down, so here's how the All-Star game works. Players were selected just strictly on performance from Season 14. Each team has users at every position, 34 players per team, and each formation has a different personnel package, so you'll see all the players play all day long. It's a first down and 10 at the 31-yard line for the East on the opening drive. It'll be the first pass, and it's Christensen outside to Gaines, and Gaines picks up a couple of yards before he's wrapped up. The tackle is made by number 23, Even Arthur of St. Louis for the West.
Great job getting the ball out to Gaines. They want to get him involved early and often. He's one of the few running backs in the league, Cam, that he also catches the ball, and he's very effective. 98 catches on the year for Gaines.
Every team has at least one player represented, all 20 teams from the SFL's Season 14, and now the SFL up to 22 teams as the handoff goes up the gut to BDG Hollywood. Picked up one, and the tackle made up front by Liadama of Vancouver.
Liadama, he's always roaming. He always makes his presence known, and he made a big hit on BDG.
Third down and 7 now at the 34, the first sign of adversity here for the East, and we've seen Christensen playing the bulk of this drive at the 34-yard line with 5 wide. Christensen feeling some pressure, throws it over the middle of the pass, is caught for a first down. That's Ken Gossett to the 46-yard line. Tackle made by Everett Garrison of Houston, but the East has a first down.
No surprise when it's third down and they need to move the chains. Christian Christensen looks for his buddy, Ken Gossett.
That's the Jacksonville Kings connection right there. Christensen to Gossett. Now Marcus Dunhill comes in at quarterback with an empty backfield 4 wide. And press coverage on the line for the East. In trouble, there's a sack, the first of the day. Dunhill goes down in front of his hometown crowd in his final game after announcing retirement after the championship game, and the sack goes to Shane Masters.
Shane Masters, the St. Louis Gladiator, he had 13 and a half sacks, and you see right there the reason why.
Second down and 16, so the first big defensive play of the game belongs to Shane Masters, and St. Louis is off to a hot start here in the All-Star game. Second and 16, Dunhill back to pass, going long, and it is popped up in the air and incomplete. On the coverage was Mark Lopez down the field of Vancouver, pass intended for Harish Prasad.
Mark Lopez, he's the stat sheet stuffer around this league, and right there he had another pass deflection. Good coverage. He read Dunhill the whole time.
There's a look at Lopez still on the field off the last play. Third and long. Last time Christensen was able to convert it. Now from the 40, he's back out there. Empty backfield 4 wide, and a dime look for that East defense. Back to pass as Christensen steps into the pocket, in trouble, and he gets sandwiched way back at the 32-yard line, and the West defense is going to get off the field. A combo sack, but more important, I think they're going to give the major credit to, I think that was Rhett Sawyer, number 53 of Las Vegas.
Big-time defensive line with Kevin Brackett, DeMora, Sawyer, and Masters. That O-line's got their hands full today.
So the East will have to punt it away off their first possession, returning punts. And there's a fumble on the field. It's picked up by the East on the first play for the West. The fumble is recovered by Giovanni Bolt playing special teams. The Baltimore Vulture and the East have a first down.
Giovanni Bolt, Johnny on the spot. He picks it up, and this could be the first time that this East feels the momentum in the first quarter.
Returning punts for the West, A.J. Levy of Sioux Falls. And I don't know what it is about this arena in Sioux Falls, or this stadium rather in Sioux Falls, but bad memories for A.J. Levy continue here at the Hive, and the East is set up at the West 21-yard line. Now with 2 backs in the backfield, Christensen will hand it off to Gaines, and Gaines picks up a solid 5 yards. Tackle made in the trenches by Arthur once again, 2nd and 5.
Running behind Big Freddie Tubbs and Griffin King. They're on the All-Star team as offensive linemen, and Gaines found the hole.
6:50 to go in the first quarter, no score, but the East has some early momentum off a fumble from A.J. Levy on the punt return. Christensen to pass after a change of play, throws it far side, caught by Gaines. Gaines is a first down to the 7-yard line. T-Roy Gaines split out wide. And Liam Crowder, offensive coordinator for the East All-Stars today, is putting in work early.
Liam Crowder, he's put together a nice little playbook. Nice pattern by Gaines. He went out about 7 yards, cut it to the outside, and Christensen hit him with a dime.
DJ Majesty on the tackle for the Tulsa Desperados, one of the best defenders of Season 14, just ending about a month ago. 3 in the backfield now for Dunhill. He'll hand it off, and quickly the tackle is made. That was Brian Craven on the tackle, wearing a different number. There's a handful of players wearing different numbers today on the West defense. Craven's wearing 41, Arthur's wearing 23, and Garrison's wearing 43 to afford duplicates. Avoid, I should say. 2nd and goal at the 8. Handoff now up the middle, Hollywood, and he picks up a couple before he's quickly wrapped up. That tackle made by Levy, trying to make up for the fumble on the punt return. 3rd and goal.
Big play here early here in this All-Star game. Levy trying to make up for his fumble. They gave it to Hollywood. He ran into the back of the line, tried to cut it to the outside, and Levy hit him at the line.
Christensen with an empty backfield. This has been successful for the East, and that's a sack! A 5-yard loss way in the backfield, back to the 11-yard line. The blocking was punitive up front, and Rhett Sawyer does it again for Las Vegas and the West All-Stars.
Red Sawyer, he also had 13 and a half sacks on the season. And this East offensive line, I don't know what they're going to do, but Liam Crowder's going to have to go back and look at the drawing board and check the tablet to see what they can do to stop these D linemen.
Dunhill holding for Anthony Cece, the East kicker, and that field goal is up and good. So the East get a field goal off the turnover. We'll get our first look at the West offense when we come back. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Back here in Atlanta, 4:58 to go. In the first quarter, the East leads the West 3-0, and over halfway through the first quarter, we still have not seen the West offense after the A.J. Levy return fumble on the punt return. This is Mark Lopez returning kicks for the West today, and there's a couple of quarterbacks to keep an eye on for the West. Number 14, Johnny Pickler. Number 16, Tom Pepper, representing St. Louis and Vancouver, respectively, under center.
Let's see who comes out for this West All-Star team. Is it going to be Pickler or Pepper?
Ball at the 18-yard line. They'll go heavy early. Eddie Gage of Arizona is the West offensive coordinator, and it will be Pepper to start the game. He'll flip it outside, and that's Colin Hart. He's wrapped up for no gain. Nice stop by the East. A combo tackle from Forrest Stark of Carolina and Zane Doty of Carolina, a Skyhawk double.
Nice pursuit by Forrest Stark. He had 103 tackles on the year, and he came up quick.
4:30 to go in the first quarter. 3-0. West just getting control of the ball. Heavy look here with two in the backfield. And Pepper again will throw. Pepper checks it down to Hart, and Hart's running out of room, and the East all over him. A 2-yard loss. There's Forrest Stark again making a play. I think Clint Hendershot was also involved, and it's a tough start for Colin Hart.
When you come out to this All-Star game, you think it's just an exhibition, but that gets thrown out the window when the competitive juices start to flow, and this East All-Star defense is fired up. They don't want Hart to get anything.
Now a 3rd down and 12. At the 16-yard line, under 4 to go in the third. It's Pepper again. Pepper will loft it down the middle of the field. It's caught in double coverage to the 39-yard line. The pass is hauled in out of the backfield by Phoenix Jones at fullback.
Unbelievable pass. How did Pepper fit that into two defenders? He lofted it up, and Phoenix Jones shows you why, as a rookie, he made this All-Star team. Great set of hands, Phoenix.
Tackle made by Michael Sprouse of Jacksonville. 3:30 to go in the first, and thanks to that 3rd down conversion, epically from Phoenix Jones, fresh set of downs here. Here comes Sudo Nakai, and he blasts through for 4 yards, wrapped up by the East defense's Giovanni Bolt of Baltimore.
Just when you think the defensive line is going to stop the running back, Sudo Nakai does a little dance step and picks up 4.
2nd down and 6 at the 43-yard line. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter on a counter play. This is Nakai. Nakai near a 1st down, picks up 5. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game. I'm Cameron Irvine on play-by-play. Mike Improta is your analyst, along with J.L. Browning, Robert Garrett Jr., Benji Matson, and Rosca Santagria on stats, keeping track of the over 60 users on the field all day long, and we'll get a stat update after the end of the first quarter. 3rd down and 1 at the 48-yard line. The handoff to Hart, and Colin Hart has a 1st down. So back-to-back 3rd down conversions for the West keeps the drive going on the east side of the field.
Nothing fancy, but very effective. Colin Hart for Sioux Falls. He was the lead back in that power run offense to the championship this season. And you see his strength behind the O-line right there.
2:06 to go in the first quarter, and both teams have gone on some pretty substantial drives. Out of the eye with one receiver to the bottom of the screen. The handoff goes to Hart up the middle to pick up 7. He's wrapped up at the end of the play by Tank Bennett of the now Louisiana Revolution. And if you missed the championship game, the Louisiana Revolution taking over for New Orleans and one of the new teams under new ownership.
Can't wait to see what these expansion teams put together as a product when they take the field. It's just a few weeks away.
Second down and 3 at the 42 off the 7-yard carry, and the handoff to Nakai up front gets the first down to the 35-yard line of the Eastern Conference, and the West looking pretty good out there so far.
They've obviously come to this game to try and establish the run game, and why not? You hit them with the left with Hart, and then you hit them with a right with Nakai. It's a great 1-2 punch.
Down to 1:10 to go in the first quarter already. A fast-moving first quarter. There you saw Michael Sprouts at the bottom of your screen defending. The handoff again. The West, sticking with the heavy run, bleeding the clock. Hart picks up 2 yards. And it's worth mentioning that there are plenty of offensive linemen in this game as well. The West has 4 of them. Guard Stu McKenzie out of Mexico City. Rylan and Bobo Caudell of Vancouver at the tackle spots. And the guard, Alistair Johnson, out of Houston. And it's good to give offensive linemen their shout and their due for what they do up front. Johnny Pickler's first pass of the day. Dumps it off to Nakai. And Nakai only picks up 1, 3rd and 7.
Good job by the East defense. Number 97 came up to make that play. I'm having a little trouble with my numbers trying to keep up. That was Forrest Stark again. And he's been in quite a few plays here on this first drive making tackles.
12 seconds to go. 3 receivers, 2 in the backfield. And a nickel look for the East. Quick throw. Pepper caught, first down to the 24-yard line. That pass is hauled in for the first time today by Sioux Falls gunner Lewis. And how about that? That is the end of the first quarter. The West has only had the ball once. East up 3-0. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and for the fans. We'll be back in a moment. Start of the second quarter, 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line for the West. Here in the SFL All-Star Game as Pickler's pass is caught outside. That's the first reception for K.L. Barrett down to the 18-yard line, and the West is in the red zone for the first time today.
Nice look by Pickler to find Barrett on the outside. He was wide open, and K.L. Barrett, he had 57 catches. He's an all-star this year.
Second down and 4 at the 18. Pickler so far 2 for 2. Pepper 4 for 4. And we've only had 1 incompletion so far today as Hart takes a carry. And here comes another 3rd down for the West. They are 3 for 3 on this drive. And there's Forrest Stark again.
Forrest Stark is all over the field, but so isn't Colin Hart and Suda Nakai. 11 out of the last 13 plays have gone to those 2 running backs.
10:23 to go in the first half. A low-scoring all-star game, but both teams moving the ball efficiently on a 3rd down and 3. Here's Nakai. Stop and go. Suda Nakai. Touchdown West. And Nakai represents Vancouver from last season and now Lone Star this season in style.
Suda Nakai, he shows why he was this year's Offensive Player of the Year. He stops, he hesitates, and he takes off to pay dirt.
Why hasn't he signed yet? in Pro. Do you have any guess? I mean, Nakai, part of the ownership group of Lone Star, you would assume that he would sign, but who knows? You never know with some of these veterans.
That's an excellent question, Mr. Commissioner. I think it's strategy. I think that the Glory team, they want to see who they can sign. They're taking a very close look at salary caps. They're looking at player skills. And I guarantee you, Sudo Nakai, he's going to sign for big money. They just want to see who they can pick up for the long haul.
The extra point is good. We'll take a short break. 10:15 to go in the first half. West 7, East 3. Come on back to Atlanta after this. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia, the home of the Atlanta Swarm in the SFL. And it's 7-3. The West leads the East. Atlanta hosting the All-Star game as the champion winners. This on the return is Harish Prasad. He's wrapped up even before he can get to the 20-yard line. 10-11 to go. What's coming up on the SFL calendar on Tuesday here on FTF and 11 Sports? It's the schedule release show for Season 15. The season starts in the middle of July. SFL Minor League, you can catch that out on our YouTube channel June 3rd, starting at 2, Week 7. Got the SFLN Championship on 11 Sports and FTF June 19th, and the first round of the rookie draft is Sunday, June 21st, right here on 11 Sports and for the fans. 1st and 10 at the 18. Christensen fires it outside to Hollywood. He spins right into a vicious tackle. Only picks up 2. Majesty on the stop. And Proto, you might know a little thing or two about getting drafted. You were live at FTF Studios in December.
Absolutely the highlight of my rookie career, Mr. Irvine. I was live in Boston, and let me tell you something. They say Disney World might be the happiest place on earth, but when I got drafted, the SFL, it didn't get any happier than that for me.
Christensen, clean pocket, wide open over the middle, caught first down. That's hauled in for the East at the 44-yard line, and making the grab down the field was Shan Varner, the tight end from Chicago.
I know Shan very well. He works hard all season long, and that's what he does best, making big plays over the middle, and Christensen hit him with a little floater for a big gain.
Christensen off to a hot start. 5 for 5 for 49 yards. Dunhill has not completed a pass yet in this game, but he's out of the empty here with 4 wide. Dunhill to throw. Dunhill fires down the middle. It's intercepted the 40. Coming out of absolutely nowhere, Mark Lopez. And Lopez picks off the league's MVP announced last night on SFL Honors.
Mark Lopez playing center field. He saw the shot down the middle. And once again, Mark SSS stat sheet stuffer does it again.
The defensive coordinator for the West, Jacob Bouvette out of Portland, one of the new teams in the SFL, the Portland Fleet, getting underway in about a month and a half time. But Dunhill 0 for 2 with a pick after taking a month off, winning the championship and probably going to Disney World. Three receivers. Have they opened back up yet? 3 wide receivers for the West, and Pickler drops to throw. Deep ball is picked. Back the other way, past the 30. Sidestep, it's Giovanni Bolt, who's got a fumble recovery and an interception in the first half, representing the Vultures with pride.
Giovanni Bolt from the Baltimore Vultures. He was also right down the middle of the field, and surprised to see Pickler throw an interception. He had a league low. Only 11 times was he picked off, but Bolt was all over that.
So we only had 1 incompletion through the entire first quarter, and here in the first 2 minutes and 6 seconds of the second quarter, we have 2 interceptions. I formation, the East takes back over. Dunhill hands it off to teammate Hollywood. Hollywood gets a block. Hollywood past the 35, and that's where he is stopped. Tackle made at the end of the play by Josh Vasquez of Denver, but that's an Atlanta connection.
They ran to the right side. They saw something. Great lead blocked by J.W. Doyle, and BDG broke it out for 19.
1st and 10 at the West 35-yard line. And now off the Johnny Pickler interception, the East is cooking. Empty backfield 5 wide. Liam Crowder has been unafraid to open things up early for this East squad. Back to pass Christensen. It's a trouble. Christensen is sacked, and that's the one advantage the West has had today, getting pressure out of those empty sets. And a combo sack in the backfield made by number 53, Jeff Duffy was in. Check that. Rhett Sawyer was there once again in on the sack first.
A whole slew of West defenders. They've been keeping their team in the game right now. That's why they're ahead.
Dunhill hit as he threw, and the pass is wildly thrown down the field, and it's incomplete. So the East is facing a ton of pressure up the middle, and that was Adama applying it there.
And that might have been the reason why Dunhill got picked off the first time. This West defensive line is vicious.
That ball should have been picked off there. 3 different players off the West squad had a shot at it. The pass may have been intended for Harish Prasad, but way overthrown.
Big-time defensive line for the West, Mr. Irvine. You've got Berto DeMora, Rhett Sawyer, Kevin Brackett, Shane Masters. That math is too high for me to add up, but that's a whole bunch of sacks.
3rd down and 17 at the West 42-yard line, and again, empty 5 wide for the East. Christensen will dump it short. That pass is caught by Siege Falco for the first time today, but it'll set up a 4th down. And do they bring on a Anthony Cece for what would amount to be a 55-yarder? They will not.
Tough decision. I'm not sure. It might be a little far for CC, although he did kick some big ones for the Chicago Wildcats this year. He's a free agent that's moving over to Jacksonville. They should be very pleased with that special teams kicker.
Marcus Agrippa instead pins him down inside the 5. The punter, the best punter in the SFL, the only star punter in the Pro Bowl from Florida, makes the play deep. And we'll return to Atlanta in a moment for the next drive for the West All-Stars. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans. First and 10 at the 6-yard line back here in Atlanta for the SFL All-Star Game. And a Qantas Shine quickly there to make the play for the East in the backfield. That laying on the ground, getting up very slowly is Colin Hart. And Hart's upset about something, probably at a lineman whiffing.
Probably because of this strong play by linebacker Qantas Shine. He's in his 9th season. He had 128 tackles. Put 129 on the top of that.
Second and 12. More great penetration there out of the defensive front for the East. Hart gets another carry, but right away, William Davidson of London made a huge impact up front.
Yeah, William Davidson, he was number 2 in the SFL, 28 tackles for losses, and he shows his big strength and agility right there on that tackle.
Well, they throw it here from the 6 or just try to settle for field position. No, they will hand the ball off against a blitz. Nakai almost got away, and Bolt took his head off.
Suda Nakai, he's dangerous every time he touches the ball. But Giovanni Bolt's fired up. He picked off the last pass that was thrown, and he makes a big tackle there. Let's see what he can do on this punt return. He's dangerous.
And a flag on the East, I believe, jumping into the neutral zone. That will help the field position battle just a bit. That flag is on, well, luckily, not anybody important for the East. Otherwise, it would have gotten embarrassed. That's
lucky for the... Sorry, Cam.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, lucky for the East that didn't create a first down. It brings up 4th and 3, but it gives their punter a little more room and gets himself out of the back of the end zone.
Hike the Earth in the chat says, send in Kramer for a field goal. I don't think he'd be able to make it. Hang time, fair catch called for at the 48-yard line, so the East is going to start on the west side of the field. So if you're just joining us, if you've never seen the Simulation Football League before, you can be a player on the field like all of these guys at simulation.football. And this is our All-Star Game. We just completed our 14th season of competition here on 11 Sports and FTF. The championship game was just a little over a month ago. And here we are celebrating one last time a great season before the schedule release show on Tuesday for season 15. Marcus Dunhill drops to throw. He'll air it out, and the pass is a little underthrown, intended for Harish Prasad. And here's how the game is working for those who are interested. Second down.
Great job by Mark Lopez. He came play today, and he knocks down another pass.
5:18 left. So look at Sawyer's numbers. 2 early sacks and a tackle for Sawyer. One of a couple of Las Vegas Fury defenders on this defense, along with Max Jackson starting strong safety. Empty backfield, 5 wide again. Here's Christensen, fires it outside. Caught. Falco just shy of the first down to the 38-yard line, and Falco's got another grab, and I believe Jackson comboed for that stop.
Sage Falco, he had a nice season. He had his biggest game in Week 6 against Eddie Gage's Arizona Scorpions. He went off for 131 yards and 3 TDs. He makes a nice catch there.
Handoff to Hollywood again, running right. Got a great block from Doyle. Doyle tried his hardest, Mike. He was flying out there, but eventually the West gets the stop after a few.
J.W. Doyle, you can't get caught standing around. He tried to lead the way, but BDG, he did the work, and he picks up the first down.
4:25 to go in the first half. West with an early lead. This first half just flying by with very few stoppages of play. So many completed passes, sacks, runs. Christensen, long, tipped up and incomplete. That should have been a pick again for the West. That was Josh Vasquez with the opportunity, sets up a second down.
The Denver Night Wings free safety, he made a nice play to knock that one away. And Christensen was lucky he didn't get that picked off. And let me tell you something, Cam. CC, that's what he's known for in the Discord. Got to give credit to him. He put in countless numbers of hours, and he helped me with all of these stats and inside information. Thank you, Mr. Christensen.
Gaines gets nothing. The tackle made by Slyn Shady, his first of the day. Here are some leaders so far. Passing leaders, Christensen, 6 of 7 for 58 yards. No quarterback has a passing touchdown today. The receiving leader is Siege Falco, 13 yards on 2 receptions. On the ground, it's Sudo Nakai, 35 yards on 5 carries. And defensively, it's Forrest Stark with 4 tackles for Carolina. 3rd down and 10. Christensen to throw. Great pocket, breaks down. Another sack for the West. And this time, it's Berto Demora out of Tulsa. And the defensive line has been the difference here today for the West All-Stars.
Berto Demora, he's a rookie. He had a great year with Tulsa, 16 and a half sacks. He hails from Boston, Massachusetts, and we like to call him up here in New England, Mr. Irvine, the Boston Strangler.
The East offensive line does have a couple of players. Freddie Tubbs Jr. at center, Griffin King at tackle from Queen City. Not maybe as robust as the West line is. Fair catch called for at the 10 there by Levy, not wanting to fumble for a second time. If you want to chat with all of SFL Nation, join twitch.tv/FTF next to get into the conversation. Chat shoutouts to the Rapid Raccoon, Bad Dynasty, Mighty RX, Zane Doty, Demora Gaming, TMG82, Brian LaBelle, Rosca, Comasac, NC Jester, and many others. West starts with a fresh set of drives, up 7-3. Pickler off his back foot, throws it to nobody, and the East gets an interception. Pass picked off by Tank Bennett. Where was Pickler going with that football?
Pickler tried to get to the outside. I think he got a little premature, felt the pressure coming around his backside. He let it go on 1 foot, and Tank Bennett, he's there, and he's the beneficiary. He had 4 interceptions this year for the Pharaohs.
Pickler now 2 for 4 for 7 yards and 2 interceptions. Here in the Pro Bowl, just named Offensive Player of the Year last night at SFL Honors, Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's the #1 draft pick last season. Now it's Dunhill's time to shine. Fires it to teammate Siege Falco, and the East picks up 5. In this first half, Mike, has been the West defensive line versus the West offensive turnovers canceling each other out.
That's usually the deciding factor in a ball game like this. Who can protect the ball? Most of the times when you turn it over, that spells trouble.
3 turnovers now for the West out of the eye. The East has the ball in the right hash. Dunhill will hand it off up the middle, and a nice strong run as Shady makes the tackle. That was, I believe, Hollywood on the carry.
Looked like Hollywood to me. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful. He's a finesse back, but he just carried the linebacker, and it's 3rd and 1. Very manageable from the 10.
2 minutes to go in the first half almost here. Fullback handoff, breaking through a tackle and getting wrapped up eventually at the line of scrimmage is Rhett Sawyer, J.W. Doyle. Sawyer on the tackle. We've hit the 2-minute warning. The West leads 7-3, but it's 4th and 1. Will we have a field goal after the break, or will the East go for it? You're watching the Simulation Football League's All-Star Game on 11 Sports and for the fans. Two minutes to go in the first half, a low-scoring All-Star game. The West has turned the ball over 3 times, but on the flip side, they have 4 sacks against East quarterbacks. The offense is on the field for 4th and 1. Will the East decide to snap it? And while they ponder that decision and likely take a timeout, we were talking at the break about Pickler's slow start today. He still has not signed a free agent. He has declared that he does not plan to return to St. Louis. St. Louis has not signed a single offensive player yet. They're going to have to build that offense back up through the draft. But Pickler still waiting for his decision. What do you think, Mike?
He may have a tough time getting signed if he keeps playing like this. But seriously, I'm just kidding. But seriously, in my opinion, I know he really thinks very highly of his old coach, Gerald Smith. I could certainly see him going down to Louisiana and creating a name for that new franchise, the Revolution. Or many have speculated that he could possibly take the place of MVP Marcus Dunhill through his recent retirement.
Anthony Cece played for Chicago last season. His 27-yard field goal is good, so it's 7-6. But a huge shout-out to Jacob Bouvette and that West All-Star defense. Bouvette now running things in Portland, was in Denver last season, and he's done a nice job in the red zone keeping the East out of scoring 6 points altogether.
Not only has Jacob Bouvette come to bring his coaching skills to the big-time show today, but that defense of the West, I can't say enough about Demora, Sawyer, Masters, and Brackett. That is a big, strong D-line.
From inside the goal line, Lopez gets out of the 22. I thought he was going to find a glimmer there. For the West, it's Pepper 4 for 4 for 30 yards, and Pickler 2 for 4 for 7 yards. Maybe see some more Sudo Nakai here. Their running game was a lot stronger. 48 yards on 11 carries so far today.
That could be a great formula for success. He's the offensive player of the year. Why not?
Pepper back out there, 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line. We'll hand it off to Nakai, and Nakai picks up 6 now with 1:48 to go. What are they going to do with this clock? 39 yards on 6 carries, the updated numbers on Nakai.
Sudo Nakai, he averaged a league high, a staggering 8 yards per carry. He picks up 6. There's a minute 35 left to go. That's plenty of time for this powerful offense to move down the field.
1:26 to go in the first half. West 7, East 6. This has been a fun one so far today. Straight back, that pass from Pepper is caught by Hart. He is nailed right after he got the first down by Levant Irvine, now playing in Carolina. So a couple of East linebackers from Carolina, Stark and Irvine, putting in work in the first half.
In the SFL, it's not a contact sport, it's a collision sport. And what a car wreck that was.
Pickler back out there for the first time since the interception. Pickler avoids a sack, dumps it off to Hart for no gain, and the West seems pretty content. There's Irvine again on the tackle, but the West seems pretty content to let this just go to the half.
Really surprised they're playing conservatively. They're up by a point. I think Pickler, with the 2 interceptions, he just wants to dump it off, get some positive yardage, and keep the ball on the West Side's offensive side of the field.
Down to 23 seconds to go. Heavy look here. They're going to run it, and just absolutely buried in the backfield. Quickly, William Davidson there. He's made a couple of fantastic plays, and that is likely our final play of the first half.
William Davidson, he shows you right there why he was number 2 in the league with tackles for losses. He had a whopping 28.
Oh, no, they do get the play off one last time, and that is Pickler getting hit by Jeff Duffy, named Defensive Player of the Year. First time we've said his name today. And that is the end of the first half. 7-6 West. Your thoughts, Mike?
Where did first 2 quarters of play go, Mr. Irvine? That was a blink of an eye, and we're at the halftime show, and right now this is a defensive battle. Turnovers are the difference.
East 115 yards of offense, West 90 yards of offense, but neither team really had a lot of plays in the first half. 26 for the West, 34 for the East, and I would say that's a little bit under the average of plays and a half because we just didn't have all that many stoppages of play in total. Only a handful of incompletions.
When you have a field full of all-stars, you're not going to see any incompletions. That's why they're here. When they get the ball, they make the most of it. And you're right, really surprising to see only a few number of plays. Expected to see a bit more offense, but these defenses are filled with gold players, and it makes it tough for the QB, the wide receivers, and the running backs to build any momentum.
So look at some of the highlights. I was really impressed with Giovanni Bolt. Really, the East defense had a few really, really big standout players. You had Giovanni Bolt, you had Forrest Stark, and then up front you had William Davidson putting in work. Alex Dominguez been very quiet today.
Pretty surprised. Big Sexy hasn't been in the backfield. That's where he makes his living. But again, Cam, when you have all these all-stars playing around you, you really don't have to do much work. Everybody pitches in, everybody works together, and you see the results of a 1-point halftime game.
Quad Cola in the chat says, can I get Improda singing opera as the halftime show? What do you think, Mike?
He's going to have to put in a specific request, maybe off the air.
You're not an opera guy?
Oh, man. A little Madame Butterfly? Is that what he's looking for? We're in the hive!
Start of the second half here. Seven to 6 West on top of the East, and West will get the ball to start the second half. This is Lopez on the kickoff return. And Lopez only getting out to the 20-yard line. You know, there's more stars on special teams, too, making it that much more difficult to make a play. And on the tackle there, Michael Sprouse for Jacksonville. And West will get started at the 20.
Let's see what halftime adjustments both of these teams have made. The West All-Stars are led by 80 Gage and Jacob Bouvette. And the East, Liam Crowder and Jimmy Galvez from the Ottawa Cavalry.
Hand off to Nakai, and he only picks up one. You know, talking about the minor leagues, Javier Vasquez in Ottawa, he got the nod to be the defensive coordinator of the East All-Stars. The Ottawa Cavalry in first place in SFLM with a 5-1 record. Of course, the minor league championship game coming up on June 19th. That's a Friday night here on 11 Sports and for the fans, and some of the best draft picks available will be playing in that ball game as Hart gets dropped in the backfield for a 2-yard loss. So quickly a 3rd down and 11 for the West as Sprouse makes another tackle.
Yes, sir. The East knows the only success that the West had was on the ground with Hart and Nakai. They got the bulk of the work, and when they came out at a halftime, that's their focus.
3rd down and 11, straight back for Pepper. Nice pocket. Pepper's pass is caught. Broken tackle. There he goes. He's gone. It's James Hands for Arizona, and it's a West touchdown.
What an incredible play. Pepper dropped back. He looked straight down the field, and on a slanting pattern, Hands came through the middle. Oh, baby, he takes it the distance.
James Hands beats Kappa Jones, and on Hands' first catch of the day, it goes for a touchdown, an 80-yard touchdown for James Hands. More receiving yards on that one play than the entire first half combined of all-star receivers.
What an exciting play. It's always the deep look. James Hands, he had his first season with Arizona. It was successful. 80 catches for over 1,000 yards, Cam, and he shows there why he averaged over 13 yards per reception.
The West is getting touchdowns. The East field goals, 14-6, 9:53 to go in the third quarter. You're watching the Simulation Football League's All-Star Game on 11 Sports and for the fans. Off the 80-yard James Hands touchdown for the West. They lead 14-6, and Tom Pepper gets the game's first passing touchdown. Harish Prasad on the return. He is lightning in a bottle, and he Mike gets it up to the 22.
Harish Prasad, this West team knows how dangerous he is. He had 3 kickoff returns for touchdowns this year.
Tuesday night, the schedule release show. We're super excited about that. You'll see me and our entire panel on the screen for that one, breaking down every week, every team of the SFL calendar coming up. That season starts mid-July. 1st and 10 at the 22-yard line, and here's Christensen in some trouble. Goes down again. A loss of 8 yards on the play, and the West defensive front continues to eat. It's Demora.
Berto Demora with his 2nd sack of the game. He feels the momentum. He's fired up. He's got his team up by 8 points after that big hands touchdown, and he nailed Christensen it through to the ground.
Well, the East has to get some more blocking, Mike. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Sawyer and Demora each with 2 sacks. Mark Lopez also credited with a sack. That's 5 now for the West. 2nd and 18 at the 14-yard line. 3 receivers for Christensen. Better pocket this time. Pass is caught. Terrific coverage, but a better catch from J.W. Doyle. That's twice we've seen a fullback out of the backfield make a tremendous play in coverage.
How did J.W. Doyle come down with that? He was covered like a blanket and was still able to bring that down. Good-looking pass by Christensen.
B.J. Loveless out of Arizona draped all over him. 14-6, 8:50 to go in the third quarter. Critical 3rd and 2 here for the East. This is Christensen again, fires it outside. Hollywood breaks it. Oh, he couldn't break the tackle, but he did get enough for the first down. Wrap-up made by Even Arthur. Nice job not letting him get away, and it's a move of the chains for the East.
Looked like that one had the potential to go for big yardage. BDG Hollywood touches it again. He picks up the first down, but even better job by Arthur, the St. Louis Gladiator, to bring him down.
8:18 to go in the third quarter. West 14, East 6. Handoff to Doyle from Marcus Dunhill, picks up a few. And T-Roy Gaines, since he had that catch in the red zone, has been pretty quiet. Loveless on another tackle. He's getting involved.
Where is T-Roy Gaines been? I thought they might work him into the offense a little bit more. He's played 4 seasons in this league. Believe it or not, Cam, this is his first All-Star appearance. I want to see more of him.
7:50 to go, third quarter. Split backs now for the East offense. Christensen deep against the blitz. Christensen buried. A 7-yard loss. It's Demora again. Get him a contract extension.
Berto Demora right now, he looks like he's the defensive player of the game with his 3rd sack. And let's credit Eddie Gage. He is a defensive-minded guru, and you can see the way he's drawn up his playbook today. His defense is playing top flight.
Well, he's coaching the offense now, Mike. I know we know Eddie for the defense, but it's Jacob Bouvette, the defensive coordinator today. That pass is incomplete, and there's Bouvette's defense again making the play. I'm sure he's learned a few things from Eddie over the course of his time here.
Check that, my bad, Jacob Bouvette. You get the credit. Eddie, stick with the offense. Let Jacob do his thing, because right now he looks like the Hall of Fame defensive coordinator.
You know Eddie right now is over there on that sideline peering over at that playbook, that call sheet. What do you got going on over there?
He better start taking some notes if he wants to keep up with the Portland Fleet defensive coach.
From the 20, and a big hit on Levy, but Levy holds on to the football. That tackle made by Caledon Holly of Charleston, who's been quiet today. But that'll set up a West first down at the 21-yard line, and the West Stars have to be feeling pretty good.
Absolutely. Their defense has really energized this crowd. Their offense, if they can put up more points, that'll give them some more breathing room. And it's going to be tough for the East to come back against that steel curtain and defensive line led by Berto Demora.
And off to the fullback. That's Phoenix Jones. No gain on the play. Aquanta Shine in there for the stop. Shine fresh off a championship. If you missed SFL Honors last night, it's on demand on our YouTube channels /SimulationFL. And Atlanta won Coach of the Year, Franchise of the Year, Moment of the Year, and Dunhill won the MVP. 2nd and 10, handoff to Hart. Hart's got no blocking on the outside, and Sprouse does it again. He's been tremendous in run defense representing the Kings. It's 3rd and 12.
What a big hit by Sprouse. He exploded into the right side of the offense, and he nailed the running back. Great tackle.
Another 3rd down and long here for the West. Last time they were in this position, Pepper threw an 80-yard touchdown. This is Pepper again. Pump fake goes down. 5-yard loss. And it's another member of the Kings, Hunter Norwood, making the stop and flexing some muscles. 4th down.
Big Hunter Norwood, the Jacksonville King. Give credit to the secondary. They had everybody covered. Pepper pump fake, and that was just enough time for Norwood to meet him in the back field and take him down.
This is going to be great field position for the East. Offense struggling a little bit here today. From the 46 to the 48. We'll see what the offense has in store when we come back. West 14, East 6. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and for the fans. .536 to go in the 3rd quarter. West 14, East 6. We're here in Atlanta, and the West is protecting an 8-point lead as Dunhill flips it outside to Hollywood, and Hollywood spins away from one, gets a 1st down, picks up 10 yards. Nice start to the East drive in the area of the tackle, Josh Vasquez.
The crowd gets fired up every time BDG Hollywood touches the ball, a.k.a. the business, and he makes a nice spin move to move the chains.
It's actually Majesty that made the tackle there at the end of that play. Nice job by DJ. 5:18 to go. We got a good ball game here. 1-score game. Here's another empty look. The West playing press coverage has been eating on this today. Christensen fires it short, jumping the route beautifully for the West. That's even Arthur, and the St. Louis Gladiators have had a couple of standouts today.
Even Arthur, he stepped in front of that. Lucky that wasn't picked off. He was #1 in the league this year. He had 3 interceptions that he took back for pick sixes.
Empty again on 2nd down. That's Mike Daggs who's been quiet there to the left of the line of Mexico City. To the left of Christensen.
Throw it to the tight end, Cam.
They'll go short, and it was to Daggs, but it was knocked away. Christensen looking for a flag, and he's now 8 for 12 for 79 yards. Pepper leads the game in passing with a $110.
Big hit, and the Buffalo Bills fan, Mike Daggs, got blown up.
I know that in the minor league, Mike, you're really, really good at figuring out who's going to be the player of the game at the end of the game. This is going to be your toughest challenge yet.
Wow.
5:03 to go. The 3rd is another sack. It's the 12th sack of this game. And I think that was a safe. No, it was not. It was Shane Masters again. And the St. Louis Gladiator defense has some pieces. Look at this move.
7 total sacks through 3 quarters for this big defensive line. We've talked about them since the kickoff, and they make another big play again. Let the West defensive line shine.
3 sacks for Demora, 2 for Sawyer, 1 for Masters, 1 for Lopez here in this game. This is a pretty nice punt from Agrippa. It dies at the 3-yard line. Marcus Agrippa twice has put the West inside the 5.
Cam, can you believe that Max Paul had the intelligence to sign this punter. He was the 50th pick in the 3rd round. He had 21 punts this year inside the 20-yard line, and that's what you call a difference maker.
And that's almost 2 a game. That is a very underrated stat. Nice stat, Mike. Handoff, Pickler gives it to Nakai, who picks up a couple. Nakai been very quiet since, check that, Colin Hart. Both have been quiet since the start of that second half after all that success in the first half.
The West knows on offense they can grind it out with the way their D has been playing. No worries.
My apologies on the last drive. That was E.J. Minson, the intended receiver, not Mike Daggs. He plays for the West, of course, as Nakai picks up a couple. And the tackle made up front by Joshua Williams of Atlanta. And I think the audience will give me 1 pass. I'm very proud of myself that I made it 2.5 quarters without messing up a name. There's a lot of names out there today.
Lots of numbers, lots of names, lots of numbness in the brains. That's the way it is when you look at 45 players on the rosters.
3rd down and 6, and that's only a 4-yard pickup for Hart, and the West will have to punt the ball away. Eventually, Mike, the East has got to do something with this excellent field position they've been given.
Absolutely. It's time to pull away. Their defense has played excellent. Both defenses have played excellent. Now it's time to see the offense opening up a little bit more as we get deep into the 3rd quarter.
From the 47-yard line, Samru to return, and Bolt gets 5 yards, gets the ball up the 42-yard line of the West. Want to see more from Dunhill. 3 for 7 for 20 yards and a pick. Been pretty surprising that Dunhill has struggled as much as he has today. Mr. MVP.
MVP, maybe he's content to ride off into the sunset. What an incredible career this gentleman has had. He won the championship. He won all the awards. He's on the top of the mountain looking down.
Hollywood got away. I don't know how he got away from the first guy. Picks up 4 yards, and that's one of his better runs in a while. 2nd and 6.
BDG, they call him the Barry Sanders of the SFL, and you see those moves right there. He can get through anything.
There's a look at number 55, Kevin Brackett out of Vancouver, who made that last stop. 3 in the backfield, 1 receiver to the top of the screen. They're going to throw it. Dunhill out to Hollywood. Hollywood got plenty of space past the 30, past the 25 to the 24-yard line. Tackle at the end of the play made by Max Jackson. But we've seen a couple of times Dunhill to Hollywood has worked for the East in the second half.
Those two teammates, they know each other so well. That was the combination on offense that took the ATL to the season 14 rings. Why not throw it to Hollywood? He makes a nice one-handed catch, spins around, and picks up the 1st down.
Hollywood now has 32 receiving yards. That's more than any East receiver. Hacker, Prasad, and Bush still without a catch in this game as Doyle gets a carry for no gain. Is that not shocking or what? Bush, Hacker, Prasad, and Minson all with 0 catches on 6 targets.
Cam, even I am at a loss for words. When you have receivers that are at the top of the league and setting all kinds of records, get them involved, throw them the ball, let them make some plays.
Instead, it's Hollywood again. He'll try to sidestep, but he's pushed out of bounds. That wrap up again made by Arthur. Hollywood now 5 receptions for 34 yards, and a 3rd down and 7 is coming up.
And we like to talk about the skill set of these receivers, but Mr. Irvine, you also have to give credit to the skill set of the secondary and the DBs. These guys are at the top of their game. The reason why they're all-stars is because they have the skill set to shut down wide receivers. It's tough moving the ball.
Empty backfield, 5 wide for Christensen. He'll fire middle. It's caught by Falco. In heavy traffic, Siege Falco rips the ball away from Slyn Shady and the East back in the red zone.
Once again, Christensen threads the needle. Great job by Falco to hang on. Wasn't sure if it was going to get there or get knocked down. And fortunately for the East, they keep their drive alive.
Atlanta's offense running through the Atlanta Swarm. 9 of the 10 receptions for the East have come from Swarm players so far. This is Hollywood out of the backfield. Make it 10 of 11. Hollywood spin cycle for the touchdown.
Are you serious? Oh my goodness, BDG Hollywood with an all-star spin, an all-star move, and an all-star touchdown. He brings the East to 2, penning the extra point. Put that on the highlight reel.
Majesty goes flying into outer space. With 34 seconds left, will they go for 2? The offense appears to be on the field, and the East maybe chasing points a little bit, but making it interesting. Dunhill out for the 2-point conversion. Here's T. Roy Gaines in the backfield, along with Doyle. Bush at the bottom of the screen. What are they going to do? They're going to throw. Dunhill in trouble. Avoids a sack and then does get sacked. And the West all over it. Kevin Brackett makes the play. And the East still trails. 34 seconds to go in the third. West 14, East 12. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Welcome back to the SFL's 14th All-Star Game alongside Mike Improta. I'm Cameron Irvine. We also have Vasquez, the Statman, Santagria, Robert Garrett Jr., J.O. Browning, and Benji Matson in the stat truck as Lopez gets it up to the 20-yard line. 29 seconds left. If you're just joining us, players of on these teams were selected based on their performance in Season 14. Each team has users at every position, 34 per team, and each formation has a different personnel package, so you get to see all the players all day long. First down and 10 at the 20. The West lead cut to 2. Pepper straight back, fires it outside. That pass is caught for a 3-yard pickup, and then quickly running out of bounds on the far side. DR Sim of Houston, and want to send my congratulations to Damon Simeon for his 9th wedding anniversary today. So happy anniversary to you, Damon.
Congratulations, DR Sim. He is the best receiver in SFL history. In Week 7, he became the first wide receiver to surpass 12,000 yards.
Pepper with some pressure dumps it off to Hart, and Hart can't get much, and that will bring us to the end of the third quarter. 3rd and 6 when we come back. The East starting to mount a comeback. You're watching the Simulation Football League's All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Don't go anywhere. Start of the fourth quarter here in a very intense All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans here in the Simulation Football League. West leads the East 14-12. Deep ball down the field. Pickler caught to the 43-yard line. That's DR Sim, the myth, the man, the legend with the first down.
What an unbelievable catch by DR Sim. He knew that he was going to get nailed, and he still hangs on to it in the middle of the field. DR Sim, he's got hands of gold.
Johnny Pickler makes the play, and for Pickler, that I believe was his longest pass of the day of 19 yards. Now 5 of 8 for 30 yards and a couple of picks for the rookie here in his first All-Star game of his career. I'm sure he will have many more. Handoff on a trap play, bouncing off of Norwood. Colin Hart picks up 2. I didn't know anything could bounce off of Hunter Norwood.
Unbelievable strength by Colin Hart. Thought he was going to be taken down for a loss, and somehow he picks up 2. Amazing.
There's a look at Rylan Caudell and Stu McKenzie on the left side of that line. Offensive line for the West been doing a little bit better job than the East today. Nakai makes that reception, picks up a few. Tackle made on the outside by Caledon Holly to set up a 3rd and 6.
This game is starting to get intense. You didn't think that these defenses could raise their level of play, but now in the 4th quarter, everything's on the line.
3rd down and 6, nickel look out of Javier Vasquez's defense for the East All-Stars. Straight back, fires it outside, does Pepper, and that pass hauled in by Phoenix Jones, but he's not going to get there, and Caledon Holly's had a great second half. Now up to 4 tackles for the East. That is tied with Aquantis Shine and Forrest Stark for the team lead, and the West has to punt.
Fantastic play by the Charleston Predator. He shows you why the Preds were the #1 defense in the league, and he led cornerbacks with 69 tackles this year.
Bolt tried to spin away but cannot. Gets only to the 16-yard line. 8:58 to go in the game. The East down 14-6 at one point. Trying to mount a comeback. What will Marcus Dunhill and the rest of the squad do when we come back? Find out. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Welcome back to Atlanta for the SFL All-Star Game. 14-12. West leads the East with 8:58 to go in the 4th. But the East has the football back, scored a touchdown on their last drive, failed the 2-point conversion. Hand off to Hollywood immediately is met in the trenches, and that continues to be the storyline of the day. Leah Dama, part of that vicious defensive front for the West.
Leah Dama, he was in the race for Defensive Rookie of the Year. Mel Davis, he was very deserving, but if he didn't get it, Leah Dama was next in line.
4 receivers, 2 to either side. Christensen going to throw. Christensen with some pressure in his face. Oh, just overshot. That was Hollywood out of the backfield. to set up a 3rd down and 10, and undoubtedly that pressure starting to collapse on Christensen, and he may have gotten rid of it a little too early.
I think so, Cam. You're right on the money with the analysis. Christensen got excited. He saw Hollywood break free. He threw a dart, and it was just a little bit too far in front of him. Tough play.
3rd down and 10 at the 16. We've seen a lot of 3rd and longs. The East is 4 of 11 on 3rd down, as is the West. Christensen going to throw. Deep, drop back, great pocket. Deep shot, good! Harish Prasad! 20, 10, it's a touchdown for the East!
What an amazing play. Harish Prasad with lightning speed. He's been quiet all afternoon long, just being patient, waiting for his moment. And right there, the spotlight was put on him the whole time. He had eye contact with Christensen, and Christensen put the laser beam right down the middle of the field, and Prasad was gone for 6.
James Hands with an 80-yard touchdown. Earlier in the half, this goes for 84 for Harish Prasad, and for both of them, it's their only catch of the day.
One catch, one opportunity, one big-time play from one big-time player. Harish Prasad put it on the board. The East, for the first time in this game, takes the lead with just over 8 minutes left to go.
Back-to-back scoring drives for touchdowns for the East, now leading 19-14, and the chat going ballistic with the CARs, car for Carolina, and Mr. 23, the Brown Knight X, and many others. Zane Doty is in the chat. Doty's been a little quiet today, but all those Carolina players loving the impact that they have made on this game. I would argue, Mike, that Carolina's had a bigger impact on the East than just about any team outside of Atlanta.
Absolutely, and not only has Carolina made a big impact on the field today, Commissioner Irvine, but let's give credit where credit is due. Harish Prasad, he's one of the most active owners in the league, and what a unique passion he has about his team's brand. He's got them down in Carolina on ESPN radio, and today he is the story of the Carolina Skyhawks.
Pepper flips it outside to Nakai, and Nakai gets hit hard by a Qantas Shine. A 2-yard loss will set up a 2nd down and 12, and the West is reeling right now.
Uncle Mo is a fickle thing, and right now it's all on the East side, and a Qantas Shine is feeling it in his home field of Atlanta, Georgia.
3 receivers, 2 to the short side, right. Ball's on the right hash, and the defensive line for the East shifts from right to left. They only have 1 sack today. The West has 7. Hand off Nakai. Nakai is loose, and Nakai pushes forward, nearly gets a 1st down. His best run in a long time. And a combo tackle at the end made by Hunter Norwood and number 28, Kappa Jones.
Stu McKenzie and his brother Bobo Cordell, along with Alistair Johnson and Ryan Cordell. There's so many of them I can't keep track, but what a great push they had for Nakai, and he just bowled over people for a gain. It's 3rd and 1. Let's see what they can do to pick up the 1st down here.
7:18 to go. Look at the box for the East. 9 in the box. There's only 1 guy back 5 yards away. They're going to hand it to Nakai, and he stuffs it for a 1st down to the 31-yard line. Check that. That's Colin Hart, who before that play had 18 touches for just 19 yards and picks up a critical 1st down there.
Nice job by the guard, number 59, Stu McKenzie. Hart was patient, waited for the guard to pull. He made a nice block on the linebacker. Didn't get much, but very effective.
High formation now for the West. Another handoff. This goes to Hart. He's got 9 yards, and the West getting physical out there as Davidson makes the stop.
These big-time players are coming up with big-time hits, but now Hart's starting to feel it. That's why he's a power runner, and they got to give him the ball. Let's go.
2 in the backfield now. Heavy look. That's Hart. Following Jones. Jones with a kick block. 1st down again for Colin Hart, and a nice job by Phoenix Jones on the outside.
Phoenix Jones, the rookie out of Mexico City. Great job by Hart to follow him. And Phoenix took the corner, and Hart picked up another first down.
How many opportunities are these two teams going to continue to get as the clock continues to race here in the fourth quarter, similar to how it was in the first? Another heavy look for the West, trying to play keep away with the football. Another run to Hart, and he is brutalized by Joshua Williams for a 3-yard loss, representing the Swarm.
Joshua Williams, too much to handle for Alistair Johnson. He pushed him over like a bulldozer for the 3-yard loss. Big hit.
One man in the backfield, that looks like Nakai. Crouched down low. He'll race out, stepping up in the pocket. The floater is caught for a first down to the 32-yard line. That catch is hauled in by K.L. Barrett of Mexico City. And I'm trying to get an identifier on who threw that pass.
How did that little floater get taken out of the air by K.L. Barrett? He must have stickum on those hands.
Nice throw by Johnny Pickler. That was Johnny Pickler on the last play, getting the ball to the 32-yard line, and Pickler's had a couple of deep shots that have kept the West offense moving now. 1st and 10 at the 32. Pepper's sidearm throw is incomplete. Looking for Gunnar Lewis of Sioux Falls, who's been quiet today, and that pass is broken up by Zane Doty of Carolina.
Zane Doty, another Carolina Skyhawk, and it seems like this team from the East Coast, the Carolina Skyhawks faithful, they're getting out of their seats because with Prasad and Doty, they're making this game interesting.
4:47 to go in the fourth. This is one of the better drives of the day for the West. A flip out. Everybody was coming. Here's Colin Hart on the reception. Picks up 4. And a combo stop there from Josh Reese of Charleston and Zane Doty of Carolina. The battle for the Carolinas. Can't wait to see where that's on the schedule on Tuesday.
Let's go, SFL. I can't wait for the schedule release show. That comes up on June 2nd at 7 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss that one.
3rd down and 6 at the 28-yard line. 4:15 to go in the fourth. The West trying to go on a potential game-winning drive here as Pickler fires it outside. The pass is caught. Turning the corner down the sideline is Brett Killian all the way to the 11. Wrapped up by Doty, but the West moving the football led by Johnny Pickler.
The first catch of the game from Brett Killian. Who would ever thought that? And he comes up with a big catch to move the chains.
Pickler playing catch-up here, Mike, with his stat numbers. He's having a really nice second half.
Not too bad. The rookie's finally settled in. He's got his team in crunch time down on the 11.
7 for 10 for 72 yards. This is Pepper, and Pepper will check it down to Hart. Really nothing there. 3:42 left. There's a couple of the top quarterbacks here today. Christensen with that 181 leading all passers, thanks in large part to that 84-yard bomb to Prasad.
Really like the way these two teams have picked up their play in the final quarter. Let's see on 2nd 11 what the East decides to do here.
Pepper under center, 2 in the backfield, 2 receivers far side left. Nickel defense, and Pepper cannot hand the ball off and then gets dropped. Oh, they blew that play up from the beginning. And that is big number 98, Levant Irvine, getting in the backfield.
When the defensive line came up and they saw the backfield, everybody was screaming, run. They almost took that handoff right from Pepper.
3rd down and 11. Pepper to throw. Pepper going short and underneath. Pass caught short of the sticks. Gunnar Lewis comes up 2 yards shy thanks to Irvine, who's had a phenomenal second half. And the West, what do you do here? I think you got to kick the field goal, go down just 2.
Wow, what a decision
Oh,
for
they're going for
Eddie
it.
Gage. They got to go.
Oh, man.
It's the All-Star game. Are they kicking it?
They are kicking it. I'm not used to seeing starters on the field on special teams. West going for the field goal. I don't know. With 3 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, Golly, that's tough. 20-yard chip shot is good. Your thoughts, Mike, after the break, as the West has cut it to 2. Will they onside kick? We'll find out after the break. 2:34 to go in the fourth quarter. You're watching the SFL All-Star Game on 11 Sports and for the fans. We're back. Onside kick for the West. A lot of stars playing special teams here today. 2:34 to go in the fourth. Can the West recover an onside kick? It's Kramer Jackman kicking it, and it's recovered by the East at the 37-yard line. That ball was picked up by Siege Falco. How about that? You don't see that every day. That's got to be his first career onside kick recovery.
Excellent decision by Liam Crowder to have his stars out there, the players who normally are so reliable with their hands around the ball. And Sage Falco, he shows you why he's a champion.
The West has 7 sacks today. I think the East would be wise to keep this on the ground. Christensen going to hand it off to Gaines, and T-Roy Gaines, who hasn't done much today, gets critical 6 yards on first down.
Big-time players step up in big-time moments, and to quote Eddie Gage, most running backs make people miss. T-Roy Gaines makes people pay.
Zamora with those 3 sacks leads all defensive players in sacks. East does not have to snap this ball. The West has all 3 timeouts. The kicker is Anthony Cece for the East, so they should have no issues hitting a field goal from this distance. The West has got to figure out a way to push them back. Eddie Gage and Jacob Bouvette trying to figure it out. We're back to Atlanta in a moment. Back here in Atlanta for the SFL All-Star Game, the East narrowly leading the West 19-17. The West All-Stars need a stop. 4 yards away is the East from potentially sealing this game. The handoff up the middle, got a first down. Majesty there too late, and it's Hollywood moving the chains, and now the clock not on the side of the West. They can't lose the game here, but it's getting dire.
The East All-Stars know that they need to run the ball and keep picking up first downs. The West, the only thing they can do now is try their best to stop this offense. It's going to be a battle of that defensive line once again. There's 2 timeouts left. They got to stop them on this series here.
2 in the backfield. The East has done the smart thing here down the stretch, just running the football. Hand off to Gaines. Another hole opened up. How about the job from Tubbs Jr. and King up front on the line? The West has to call another timeout, 2nd and 5.
The battle of the trenches, that's where the games are won and lost. And these backs, Gaines and Hollywood, the combination of picking up 5 yards a carry, 1 timeout left for the West, and their backs are against the wall.
2nd down and 5 at the 21-yard line on the west side of the field. 2 in the backfield, hand off to Doyle on 2nd down, and he gets crunched after a yard or so. First there was Loveless. Majesty also there on the tackle, so this is the game right here on 3rd down and 4. And by the way, if you've been loving this, you can get on the field and you might be an all-star one day playing in this game. Simulation.football. Join our Discord, be a player, and become part of that draft, man. We got a lot of players, but who knows? You can make an impact as quickly as tomorrow here in the SFL. 3rd down and 4. This is the game. Gaines has a first down, and how about T-Roy Gaines? He did nothing all day long, and seals the game for the East All-Stars in the most critical of moments.
The first All-Star appearance in this great career of T. Roy Gaines. He says, talk with your pads, play with your heart.
Gaines will finish with 24 yards on 6 carries, but they were some critical carries down the stretch. Nice balance by the East. Hollywood got 9 carries, Gaines 6, and Doyle 5. And the game will end in the East's favor, and I have to ask you, because I think it's going to take you maybe a little bit here, Mike. Who wins player of the game on the East side of the ball?
Very, very tough call. It's definitely putting me to the test. There's a lot of pressure, that's for sure. These running backs came in. They each did a great job to grind it out. I love the way both defenses played. And certainly Harish Prasad, the most exciting play of the night, that gave the East Conference the victory. But I got to go with my buddy, the guy who put in the time, the guy who put in the effort to make me sound smarter than I actually am. I'm going with the QB, the Texas A&M guy, Christian Christensen, the QB for the Jacksonville Kings.
11 of 16, 175 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, a QBR of 125.8. He led the SFL in passing yards this season with a whopping 4,261. It was almost 600 more than any player, and he could be the player of the game for these East All-Stars as we head into the post-game show. And we'll find out here soon enough. The East gets the victory here in Atlanta. What a crazy, awesome game. 19-17. Both teams held under 300 yards of total offense, but we had the big, exciting firework plays that we expected there down the stretch, and that made it all worth it, Mike.
Absolutely. Anytime you get this opportunity to see the quality of these players on the field, you can always expect for an exciting outcome. And who would have thought that the East would have come out on top with the way that West Conference defense played? They had 7 big sacks, made it very difficult for the East Conference to move the ball. But as you could see, it took one big play, and that was Christensen to Prasad on the 80-yard hookup.
Now, an underrated possible MVP candidate, BDG Hollywood. He had 89 all-purpose yards and a touchdown, including that reception. 6 for 47 on the day in the pass game.
Absolutely outstanding. BDG, he's very deserving of player of the game. Wouldn't be surprised if he made me look bad on my prediction. But yes, indeed, the halfback playing in front of his hometown crowd, he put on a show.
There's the deep ball to Harish Prasad that really turned this game on its head. Remember, the West led 14-6. The East making a comeback, down 8 at home, getting the job done. Well, Mike, before we head off the air, I just have to say what a pleasure it was calling the game with you. We can't wait to hear you in the minor league championship game with Tim Hackett in a couple of weeks. And thanks again to our stat crew, Rosca, Robert, JL, and Benji. Final words, Mike, as Prasad gets player of the game.
Wow, Harish Prasad and the Carolina Skyhawks. And to you, Harish Prasad, I want to thank everybody for allowing the SFL into your living rooms. Now allow the SFL into your dreams.
For Mikey and Proto and our entire crew, I'm Cameron Irvine. This has been a presentation of the Simulation Football League All-Star Game from Atlanta. Good night, everybody, and have a fantastic rest of your weekend.